Kito and Hakaros, dreamers adrift in a world of hard tides, yearned for one thing above all else, a ship to call their own, a vessel to carry them to the distant horizons they spoke of in hushed whispers.
He is magnificent, Hakaros. Even with the barnacles and torn sails, imagine the adventures we could have.
Kito said, his voice filled with a hopeful sigh.
Indeed. But a ship, even this one, requires coin. And our pockets echo with only the wind.
Hakaros replied, a touch of practicality in his tone.
Later, in the heart of a smoky tavern, whispers turned to a name, Richlord, a figure of immense, ill-gotten wealth, known for his eccentricities and his formidable defenses. His mansion was an impenetrable fortress, his coffers overflowing.
Richlord, they say, has enough gold to buy an entire fleet, but he guards it like a dragon.
Kito mused, tracing a finger across the map.
Dragons can be slain, or at the very least, persuaded.
Hakaros said, his gaze firm.
Under the cloak of a moonless night, Kito and Hakaros made their move. Richlord's mansion loomed, a monument to greed and excess, but the promise of their ship fueled their resolve.
The perimeter looks tight. Too many energy tripwires.
Kito whispered, her eyes scanning the defenses.
There's always a weakness in grand designs.
Hakaros replied, already spotting a potential entry point.
They breached the outer defenses with practiced ease, finding themselves in an opulent antechamber leading to Richlord's fabled vault. But they were not alone. A theatrical voice echoed through the vast space.
Well, well, what have we here? Two little mice, come to nibble at my cheese.
A portly, exquisitely dressed man, Richlord, emerged from the shadows, a smug grin plastered on his face.
We've come for what you hoard, Richlord. We need it for a venture far grander than your gilded cages.
Kito declared, stepping forward.
Hoard? My dear, this is merely my comfort, and as for your grand venture, it will have to wait. You see, I have a secret weapon, one I recently acquired, a mid-egg called Flash.
Richlord boasted, his voice dripping with condescension. In a blink he moved, a blur of motion, snatching Kito's utility belt before she could even react. He was suddenly across the vast hall, examining the belt with a sneer.
My belt. He's incredibly fast.
Kito exclaimed, her eyes wide.
The Flash Egg. It grants unnatural speed.
Hakaros observed, drawing his catch sword with a metallic whisper.
Catch me if you can, slowpokes. You'll never lay a hand on my treasures.
Richlord zipped around them, a dizzying whirlwind, his laughter echoing. Hakaros, however, remained still, his focus intense as he held the unique catch sword.
He's too fast to confront directly, Hakaros. Think. What can we do?
Kito cried out, ducking a playful swipe from Richlord that ruffled her hair.
The catch sword isn't for striking. It's for ensnaring. But I need a clear line, and he won't stop moving.
Hakaros explained, his voice low and steady. Kito's eyes lit up with an idea.
Then we make him stop, or at least slow him down enough for you. I have an idea, but it'll be risky.
Kito announced, a mischievous glint in his eyes.
Kito began her risky gambit. He strategically knocked over ornate vases and hurled golden ornaments, creating a chaotic obstacle course for the super-fast Richlord. Richlord, annoyed by the disrespect to his treasures, began to focus more on dodging the debris than on taunting them.
Stop that. You'll break my priceless collection. You uncultured savages.
Richlord fumed, zipping to catch a falling statuette, momentarily pausing.
He's predictable when his treasures are at stake. Hakaros, now.
Kito yelled, seeing his opportunity.
In that crucial moment, as Richlord reached for a plummeting crystal chandelier, Hakaros sprung into action. The catch sword pulsed with light, unleashing a brilliant, shimmering energy net that expanded outwards, moving with surprising speed.
Ensnare.
Hakaros commanded, his voice resonating with power. The net soared through the air. The shimmering net struck Richlord square on, and his blinding speed instantly dissipated. He stumbled, caught within the glowing mesh, his movements reduced to clumsy struggles. The flash egg's power was neutralized.
What is this? My speed. It's gone. Release me, you ruffians.
Richlord bellowed, tugging at the energy strands, but they held firm.
The catch sword doesn't harm. It merely holds and binds those who abuse power.
Hakaro explained, lowering his sword but maintaining the net.
With Richlord secured, Kito approached him. A determined glint in his eyes, he deftly retrieved a small, intricately carved key from his belt, the very key to his vault.
Your ill-gotten gains will now serve a nobler purpose, Richlord, one that actually benefits someone other than yourself.
Kito declared, holding up the key.
You'll regret this. I'll have my revenge.
Richlord snarled from within his shimmering prison.
Inside the vault, Kito and Hakaros found an overwhelming display of wealth. Mountains of gold, sparkling jewels, and stacks of currency lay before them. They took only what was necessary for their ship and essential supplies, leaving the vast majority of Richlord's treasure untouched.
More than enough for our ship, and to stock her for a long journey. We won't be greedy like him.
Kito said, carefully filling a sack.
Justice is served. Now, for the seas.
Hakaros affirmed, a rare smile touching his lips.
The next day, the dockside bustled with new purpose for Kito and Hakaros. With their newly acquired funds, they eagerly purchased all the necessary provisions, sturdy crates of food, fresh barrels of water, and detailed navigational charts, preparing for their grand adventure.
These supplies will last us for months. We're finally ready.
Kito exclaimed, overseeing the loading of goods. And so the dream became reality. The once dilapidated ship, now lovingly restored with new sails, gleaming paint, and polished wood, stood majestic at the dock. Kito and Hakaros, their quest complete, finally stood on its deck, gazing towards the endless horizon.
He is even grander than we imagined.
Hakaros said, his voice soft with awe.
Our ship. Hakaros. Our adventure. It begins now.
Kito replied, his heart swelling with joy.
With sails unfurled and spirits high, Kito and Hakaros' ship cut through the waves, leaving the shores of their past behind. The open sea called, promising new adventures, new challenges, and endless possibilities. Their journey had just begun.